It might look like a kite, but what's about to be launched is a flying camera known as the Swinglet Cam. The camera captures images from altitudes of up to 1,000 metres and is designed for use in geographic mapping and security and for monitoring traffic and air quality. The Swinglet was created by Swiss company SenseFly. Andrea Hildebrand is one of the company's co-founders. She says the Swinglet Cam is an unmanned eye in the sky.
One thing which is specific is the pitot tube, which measures the flight speed and the altitude. There's the autopilot inside with the initial measurement unit, and the GPS to know always the position where he is, and so he can follow the flight plan mainly. And in the middle, in the heart of the UAV, is the camera, which takes high resolution images.
The device weighs just under half a kilo and is made of polypropylene. Its camera can take bird's-eye view pictures based on pre-programmed commands, while an autopilot and GPS system keeps the plane flying on a pre-programmed course. Clicking points on a computerized map tells the Swinglet to alter its flight path accordingly. But the Swinglet is capable of carrying more than just a camera. Meteorologists can also work with it.
I think of replacing the camera with other type of sensors. For example, meteorologists like to know about the temperature and the humidity in the atmosphere. It's quite easy to replace the camera with a sensor of that sort.
The flying camera is the brainchild of a group of Swiss scientists, and while it looks like a specialized, sophisticated piece of technology, the company says anyone with $10,000 to spare can have their own eye in the sky. Basma.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Thursday, March 3rd, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome to part 3. This is the final part. If I don't have enough time, I might bust it into 4 parts, but I usually don't like to do that. But either way, we're going to start with this, healthcare. Right before the healthcare bill, we're going to get to this article. 5-year wait for Queensland patients just to get on a surgery waiting. Queensland patients are waiting up to 5 years to see medical specialists, even before they can be added to the state's long waiting list for surgery. So, judge stays healthcare ruling, gives White House deadline. A judge on Thursday put on hold his ruling that President Barry Soetoro's healthcare overhaul was unconstitutional, allowing the White House to continue implementing the landmark legislation for now. So they're going to go ahead with it. And next up, Bank of America website down. Ooh, bank denies attack. Ooh, that's because it was a bank run, right? Like I said, these are the new modern bank runs. They just ATM, sorry, you can't withdraw your cash. Sorry, you can't go online. Libya's bankers exposed Goldman and GP. And when you go on here, it says based on WikiLeaks data, it was disclosed that various U.S. banks managed billions of dollars for the country. Just seen as $30 billion of its assets largely frozen, although it's merely half of its total deposits. And when you go down in here, the secretive Libyan Investment Authority has reportedly invested hundreds of millions of dollars in Goldman Sachs asset management funds, including a loan fund designed to invest in new hedge funds set up by the Kuwait Investment Authority. So Goldman Sachs has a relationship with Libya. In 2008, Goldman was the first bank to get a contract with the country following the removal of sanctions when it was hired by Libya's central bank to provide information. So there you go. Links will be posted as always. Please visit my website, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. 97% of all U.S. mortgages are backed by the government. And then we have U.S. Supreme Court rules against corporate privacy. And moving on to some Facebook news, they will soon share users' phone numbers and addresses with third parties. So good information. Good old CIA, NSA, DARPA, bringing you a nice big database. Put all your personal information in there. So go ahead and do it voluntarily. Documents reveal TSA research proposal to body scan pedestrians, train passengers, and it goes in here and it says that it's going to start doing, and actually now they already have it, roving body scanners on the streets. But look at this, deep penetrating X-ray body scanners to be installed at airports. If you think their current backscatter millimeter wave naked body scanners were bad, wait until you see what authorities have in store. It says a new generation of full body scanners that use full strength radiation to look deep inside the body may soon pop up at airports, according to reports, and negative health effects caused by such machines are even worse than those caused by the current machines. And, you know, they'll probably just roll them out and they won't tell the public, and, oops, yeah, see, they're the same machines, you have nothing to worry about, and eventually they'll get busted and they'll have to disclose that they are different and they are worse for your health. Spy bloggers not friending U.S. targets, Centcom says. U.S. Central Command says the new Persona social media infiltration software is designed to cozy up extremist bloggers like me, right? Overseas, not law-abiding Americans chatting on Facebook or similar sites. So I reported on this, and now they're basically fixing the facts that they don't have it. Well, I know they have it. They have automatic bloggers that go around called trolls, and they just mess with people like me that are trying to talk about the truth. Second U.S. secret space warplane to launch tomorrow. Press TV, Muslim U.S. citizen sues FBI for spying. That's right, they bugged his car. Star must identify anonymous posters to website, judge rules. Marion County judge has ruled for the first time in Indiana that news media outlets can be ordered to by a court to reveal identifying information about posters to their online forums. So there you go. External security cameras coming to real-time crime center, and this is basically the story is about the crime blimp. They're launching a big spy blimp over Utah, and then they have a big spy center for the NSA in Utah as well. Brand new bills push Medicare data access. Two senators are pushing legislation to overturn a 1979 court injunction that bars the public from seeing what individual physicians earn from Medicare. Then we have China malls rule on embedded ads in films. It said basically here that they're looking at conducting research on embedded advertising in films to better regulate the industry's practices. Talking about subliminal messages. And then we have this. Britain releases UFO sighting and policy files. UFO files, threat of alien invasion taken seriously by the military. U.S. has weapons to fight UFOs and ET, says former Canadian defense chief, plus an even bigger secret. Astronauts could hibernate like bears. Missing sunspot mystery solved, and they've solved the mystery of the disappearance of sunspots, which has stumped astrophysicists for more than 2 centuries. Links were posted. Go check that out. Invasive amphibian species unpen Darwin idea, saying that he was right about some things. However, he may have been wrong about invasive species, at least where amphibians are concerned. And you can go on that and check that out. The next one up is fossil apes, not necessarily human ancestors, says anthropologist. So some stuff is changing here about creationists and Darwinists. Social skills teaching improves school grades, says study, which is not really true, because if you look at homeschoolers who everybody says, oh, they don't have any social skills, well, they happen to blow public school students and private school students out of the water when it comes to comparing grades. So that has nothing to do with it. And besides, that whole idea or that whole excuse about being homeschooled means that you're not going to be socialized. Well, that's just a bunch of crap, you know, because I wouldn't want my children hanging around with a bunch of people that are carrying on iPods and cell phones and watching American Idol and thinking Lady Gaga isn't a devil worshiper. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want my child around that. So I think it'd be better just hanging around the neighborhood and, you know, doing chores and learning and stuff like that. Male depression could rise due to Western socioeconomic changes. And, of course, it's also because they are bringing down the man and feminizing them. Sleep deficiency affects many Americans, and says CDC. Well, why do you think? Well, because we're having extra low frequencies pulsing at us every second of the day. Even in rural areas, you'll see those big towers pulsing electromagnetic frequencies and waves, radio frequencies at you constantly, and this has a lot to do with sleep deficiency, insomnia, basically numbness and tingling in the hands, headaches, migraines, all sorts of stuff. And of course, we won't find out until we're old and senile and Alzheimer's and all the eugenics has taken hold. Obesity rates in U.S. and Canada rise, so good job for eugenicists. There's no guarantee against unethical research, presidential panel told. That's because we're all guinea pigs. Government report finds elder abuse on the rise, so there you go. Millions of surgery patients at risk in drug research fraud scandal, and that's right. Like I said, we're all lab rats. Dr. Jonas Salk, inventor of polio vaccine, exposed as criminal-minded scientists who conducted illicit medical experiments on mental patients. So go ahead and get your vaccine. Massive, and he was a proponent proponent of eugenics, just so you know, openly. Massive animal cloning research project ended due to 90% death rate and unnecessary suffering. 8,000 IUs of vitamin D daily necessarily to raise blood levels, a miracle anti-cancer nutrient, declares groundbreaking new research that vitamin D may actually help fight cancer. Hungry dog eats toes of diabetic man, performs role of surgeon in home amputation. So just like dogs can sniff out cancer, he actually sniffed out that this individual had diabetes and his toes needed to be amputated. So, I mean, just amazing stuff that scientists, I don't even know if they can explain it. British baby girl Ella Claxon brought back to life after being frozen for 3 days. China malls banning BPA in bottles. Well, why don't you just go ahead and do it? Alcohol-related liver disease in young people up 50% in decade. I just read a story about a 9-year-old or 8-year-old girl in Scotland who's going through AA. Electromagnetic eugenics, wireless culling of the population, what I just talked about. Check that article out. MSNBC poll. Nearly everyone supports mandatory GMO labeling. Droves of bald eagles dropping from skies in Canada still. It says abortion disclosure bill passes. City Council approves legislation on Wednesday requiring crisis pregnancy centers to disclose whether they perform abortions, setting the stage for a legal battle with abortion rights opponents who denounce the bill as a violation of their First Amendment rights. Harry Reid won't say if he'd shut down the government to save federal funding for Planned Parenthood. Former Planned Parenthood director challenges Cecil Richards to public debate on whether Congress should continue federal funding. And it says here, one U.S.-Mexican border town had more civilian casualties last year than in Afghanistan. 19 U.S. troops were killed in Afghanistan in February. Casualty rate is declining from last year. But I don't think that's any excuse or reason to celebrate, because they're going to be passed in there in Afghanistan past 2016. Afghan protesters rally against civilian deaths. NATO accepts responsibility for killing 9 Afghan children. Afghan president condemns anti-gay churches' right to protest at military funerals is upheld. And I don't necessarily agree with that. But either way, Colorado boy 12 faces charges in parents' killings. And then moving on, teacher sacked for refusing to remove, quote, "Have you drugged your kids today?" bumper sticker. So good for you. Police called to school after teacher rattles table in class. Teacher was placed on paid administrative leave after he rattled a table to get attention of his math students who were falling asleep. And startling an 8th grader who used her cell phone to call the police. So get a freaking life, girl. And other students didn't even have a problem with it. It was, God, it's just totally ridiculous. It's about as ridiculous as that boy in England, or it was either England or the United States, who had a keychain of an M16, a little mini one, and got suspended for school for having a gun. LA police chief supports ban on big ammo magazines. So it says here, North Carolina shows how small town America is absorbing Hispanic surge. And I don't know how this works, how he says, you know, we need these people. If it weren't for Hispanic people, well, what about American people who don't have jobs, who can't negotiate wages, who can't work illegally? Because if they do, they'll get basically arrested, right? So, and how are they going to report their taxes when they're doing that? You can't negotiate your wages. That's the problem. More minorities moving to suburbs. So more minorities are moving to the suburbs in Chicago, and the African Americans are also moving out of Chicago, moving to the south, believe it or not. So a lot of changes going on in the Chicago area. Spiders, not defects, prompt Mossad to recall vehicles. Palestinians reject Israeli intermen's plans for peace. And look at this, housing for Jews approved in East Jerusalem. So even though they protested, they still got what they wanted. That's because the New World Order always gets what they want. Israel Prime Minister praises Pope for exoneration and saying that the Jewish people were responsible for killing Jesus. He said that that wasn't true. And moving on here, Pakistani court denies U.S. man immunity. This is a CIA agent. Pakistanis react to killing of Christian minister. And then Islamist leader blames CIA for murder of Pakistan's only Christian government minister. So not only is the CIA killing Pakistanis, but they're also killing Christian government ministers as well. So Pakistanis are fired up over there, man. Pakistan FM to clarify on statues of CIA contractor. Then Then we have Libya, director resigns over university's Gaddafi's links. Then look at that. He's talking about the London School of Economics here. And the London School of Economics plans Libya Scholarship Fund with Gaddafi donation. And then we got here, London School of Useful Idiots, how cadre of Blair cronies, ex-MI6 chiefs and top dons at top universities supported Gaddafi for millions. That was their puppet. That's right. Now they're done with them. Obama says Pentagon examines full range of Libya options. NATO plans for all Libya eventualities. Then Gaddafi threatens UK bloodbath. Airstrike targets Libya's Brega, and U.S. to send warships to the Med to support. Let me in part 4. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.